Today, we're going to talk about the number one vitamin that controls your mental health. Thinking is a good thing, right? I mean, that's a very positive thing. But overthinking, especially too long, especially when you're trying to go to bed at night, can prevent you from sleeping. When your thoughts dominate your mind and you can't turn it off because you're solving the problems of the world, it becomes a problem, which will also then trigger cortisol, which is more stress. Thinking about stress will activate your physical hormones that will put your body into a stress state. So the question is, are the hormones causing you to do that? Or is it your mind causing the hormones to be activated? Well, I think both can affect each other. But a lot of times people are stuck in this loop, thinking and thinking. They're very, very focused on a certain problem or a certain thought that they can't seem to unfixate their attention off that one thing. And they end up, looking at different scenarios, different ways of solving something, speculating, sometimes creating stress that's not even there, which in itself is like the definition of a problem. It's an unresolved thing. And then you get into this paralysis of analysis. Another name for that is you're just stuck in your head. The reason I'm bringing this up is that would be the definition of anxiety, worry, feeling nervous. And I want to talk about the nutritional imbalance involved in this. There's a major deficiency of a certain nutrient that can cause you to obsessively think and kind of be too stuck in your head. And unfortunately, one of the ways that people address this is that they're put on usually an SSRI. That's a fancy name for a drug that blocks the reabsorption of serotonin. So it basically kind of keeps the serotonin that you have in your body so it doesn't go away. But it comes with a big package, and the package is a lot of side effects as well as the downgrade of the receptor for serotonin. So now you're extremely deficient in serotonin, where before you were deficient, but now it's like extremely low. And one of the big symptoms of low serotonin is this obsessive solving problems and thinking all the time, with the inability to unfixate your mind about a certain problem. Of course, with this medication, it affects your other neurotransmitters too, like dopamine. One of the big side effects from SSRIs, it's called SSRI zombie syndrome, because you lose your emotions. You feel numb to the world. You start to lose your ability to get any pleasure from sex. Now, if you've been on this medication and you have that side effect, I do have a solution I'm going to talk about, but I just wanted to mention, if you're thinking about taking this medication, you have to be very aware of the terrible side effects that come along with it. So that particular symptom is a very severe deficiency of serotonin and dopamine. And so what Big Pharma has done is they have a whole bunch of other medications that manipulate other neurotransmitters in certain ways. So there's several things that decrease serotonin. Drugs, chronic stress, junk food, lack of sun can also create lowered amounts of dopamine. But the big thing that will deplete your dopamine is not having enough vitamin D. Of course, vitamin D comes from the sun. This is why during the winter months, so many people get the blues, because of a lack of vitamin D. But now you know why, because vitamin D helps serotonin to work. And so if you're really deficient in vitamin D, you're not only going to get anxiety, it's going to drop down to depression as well. In fact, there's an interesting study that shows that vitamin D will create the exact same effects as a medication for depression, but of course without the side effects. And what's missing in this mysterious puzzle is having all the microbiome. Because if you take an antibiotic and all of a sudden you get depressed, now you know why. Because there are certain microbes that help increase serotonin, way more than others. And those microbes are very sensitive to broad spectrum antibiotics. And a lot of times they'll kill them off and they never come back. And now this person is stuck in a state of stress and they don't even realize, they don't connect the dots. Instead, they go for the medication and that makes it worse. So there's two things I'm going to highly recommend. You need to get on vitamin D immediately. And I'm not talking about a small amount. I'm talking about at least 10,000 or more of vitamin D3 every single day. But there's something else that's equally as important, making sure that you have the right microbiome, especially the ones that are involved in serotonin. And the microbe that affects serotonin the most out of all the other ones, that's virtually non-existent in 96% of the population because of an antibiotic they had long ago, is called L-reuteri. Before you take L-reuteri, I'm going to recommend that you not take it as a probiotic. I recommend instead you take that microbe from a supplement and you make your own probiotic that will allow you to get the concentrations you're going to need to really fix this problem. Because this microbe not only helps you with anxiety, but it will also increase oxytocin that will greatly help reduce cortisol. And this is the antidote to what we talked about before. If you were on an SSRI and now you're pretty much flatlined, you don't experience pleasure anymore, you can reestablish those feelings consuming it in a yogurt-like form over a period of time. And I have this information in other videos because it's so important. And if you haven't seen this video, it'll show you how to make that culture with that microbe. And I'll put it up right here, and I will also put it down in the description. Hey, before you leave, I just wanted to give you a little quick history on some of the books that I wrote. This was one of the first books. It's called Dr. Berg Body Shapes. It was my attempt at writing about body types. What was very interesting about this book is I actually did all the images myself. Don't ask me why. They look actually not quite as professional as some of the images that I have in the new book. But anyway, this is my first attempt right here called Dr. Berg's Body Shape Diets. And then I wrote a book more extensive called The 7 Principles of Fat Burning. I don't even have a copy anymore, actually, because it's outdated. The next book, I put about 1,000 hours into this one right here called The New Body Type Guide. Major updates on the body types. I put a lot of energy into this. It has professional images, graphics, all sorts of things. Now, the problem with this book is it doesn't really describe what this is really about. Body types are only a small portion of what's in this book. And that's why I changed the name to the Healthy Keto Plan, okay? If you happen to have this book, you don't really need this book because there's some only very, very minor updates. But if you don't have this, you need to get this one right here. This book goes into every single detail that you would ever want to know about. It goes into the 7 principles of fat burning. It goes into hormones, the body types, the basic keto plan. It goes into intermittent fasting. I talk about the 10 fat burning triggers and blockers and fat burning strategies with a lot of details in every single chapter. I go into body issues that interfere with losing weight. There's very few people that just have a weight problem. They have a lot of body issues, whether it's sleeping problems, stress problems, inflammation, menopause. I cover that extensively in this book. Then I talk about how to get rid of stress, and I show you a technique. Then I get into exercising. And then I have a lot of really good recipes in this book as well. So this is a good reference guide. On my website, if you get this book, you get this one free. It's called Healthy Keto Intermittent Fasting. This is the shortcut, quick guide to this book. And the reason I created this book is to have you, within 45 minutes, learn how to do keto, okay, in intermittent fasting, exactly what you need to do. Then you can fill in the blanks with this book right here. So right now I'm doing a special. If you get this book, you get this one totally free, or you can go to Amazon and get these individually. So I just want to clarify the difference between this book and this updated one right here. If you don't have this, you need to get this right here. That way you can get the exact correct information to do it healthily.